Hello everyone and welcome back. So we got something a little bit different today. Me and Frugal Family, Dumpster Decor and More, Julie, have done a collab. We are letting you guys know that you can dumpster dive with children. One of the biggest things you hear as a dumpster diver is, I can't do it, I have kids. I can't do it, I have a special needs child. I can't do it, I have an infant. We are here to tell you, you can still dumpster dive, guys. And we're going to give you some tips that we go by when we're out dumpster diving with our families. So that you can also go out there, dig in those bins, see what you can find as long as your state allows it. Because there's always treasures to be found. Make sure you check out, after my video, Frugal Family Dumpster Decor and More, Julie's video. I will have her link in the description. She's an amazing individual. If you guys don't already know her, make sure you check her out, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And let's dive in. So before I go into it, we'll go ahead and touch up. They're obviously changing their displays at Five Below. So a lot of hanging stuff, a lot of baskets. If any of that is of use, of course, that's great. Hard to really dig in here. But first off, oh my God, I can't talk. With kids, anyone with kids knows, at the most inconvenient times, they're starving, they're hungry, they can't wait, they need food right now. So when you're diving with kids, especially in my case, a special needs child, you want to have food. You want to have something that they can eat at the whim of the moment when they're starving. I like to pack up like some of their favorite snacks, some of his favorite snacks especially, because he is very picky. And I like to have that handy in the car. And I also like to pack up some drinks, water, juices, stuff like that. Just so that way I have it. I don't want to have to stop at a restaurant or somewhere to get food every time you turn around. And I also don't want to have him having a complete meltdown because he is starving to death supposedly at the whim of a moment. So I always have stuff like that handy. I try not to let him see what I'm grabbing, what I'm finding, because then he wants that right now if it's something that he likes. So it kind of defeats the purpose of safety, which we'll get more in topic later. And it's not clean, not inspected, not made sure it's safe for him. So I don't like to let him see what I'm grabbing. I also kind of keep note of what restaurants and places to eat are close by. Just in case I have to grab something, I kind of know what we have as options that aren't going to cost an arm and a leg. So for food aspects, that's kind of what I do. A typical child, you say, okay, we're going to get food shortly. They will wait. When you're dealing with a child with special needs, they go into meltdown mode pretty easily, pretty fast. So I try to make sure I have something just to be on that safe side. I don't know what's in this box, so we're checking. Because we don't want a meltdown. More of those little bins. Those might come in handy for something. Okay, so every diver's worst fear of going out and diving is getting caught. You just don't want to be caught at the stores diving. And so keeping the kids entertained so they're not loud and obnoxious and they stay quiet for you is a huge thing. So, of course, figuring out what's going to work for your child helps. For all my children, it definitely helps. Having like a DVD player in the car, having an iPad that they can play on, that helps keep them entertained. But for my special needs son especially, I have found that when I go out, I cannot just on the whim decide, hey, I'm gonna stop. I have to give him a heads up. I have to tell him we're gonna stop. I have to give him an idea of how many stops there are. So if I know I'm going out and I plan on stopping, I have to kind of plan out my route so I know, hey, I'm going to go out to 3 or 4 stops, and I tell him I'm going out for 3 stops. I don't wait till I get there because it's going to instantly result in a complete meltdown for him if I just show up, if I don't tell him. So you definitely, with him, have to let him know. So that definitely helps by keeping him informed on how many stops we're going to have. He tends to accept those stops better than he would have if I would have just stopped. Like I said, the other kids, it helps them too if I have the DVD player and the iPads. Coloring books help as well. That helps keep them all entertained. But number one key feature for him, I'm going to say most special needs children, because a lot of them have autism and they just can't handle a change in their routine, letting them know how many stops you've got that day helps immensely. So the most important feature of diving with children, especially those with special needs, in my opinion, is the safety. It's keeping them safe before, during, and after a dive. So when you're out diving, your number one concern before you even exit and go to dive is the safety of your child. You want to make sure you're going somewhere that is safe. Don't go to a neighborhood that is sketchy. Don't go to those busy dumpsters. I know for me, my son has cognitive delays. He does not understand the dangers of running out into traffic. So he will get out of the car and just take off running sometimes. So you don't want to go to those dumpsters that are on a busy street or right on top of a busy street. I like going to the dumpsters that are behind stores where there's no traffic or little to no traffic. Otherwise, I don't go if he's with me. I try to stay as safe as possible with that dive. I'm dropping things, guys. Figure I'd show you at least what we got today. That's the first point of the safety before you even go to the dumpsters. Once you're at the dumpsters, for me, the safety at the dumpster is just making sure that he's not too hot, too cold. He's not touching that very hot dumpster because they get hot in the winter. Not winter. When they get hot in the summer. You make sure that you're diving like early morning, later evening, not the dead heat of the day when it's the hottest. And then a lot of people know, I've mentioned on the channel how my son does have a compromised immune system. One of the things that they have asked me is, how do you feel safe diving then and bringing items into the house that you don't know what could have went on with them? Food items, you feel safe feeding it to them. So my answer is, I make sure I go through a regimen when I bring it home. He is not allowed to eat anything until I have thoroughly inspected everything. I make sure that the package isn't open. I make sure that there's no puncture holes. I make sure I open everything before him so I can thoroughly check to make sure the food's not molding, funky smelling, anything like that. Obviously, always use your best judgment. With COVID especially, I really was cautious with bringing in items without cleaning them thoroughly first. If it could be wiped down, I was using the Lysol wipes, bleach water mixture if I had to at the time, depending on what I had. I was always making sure to leave bags untouched in my garage for a little bit longer than I normally would. Usually I'll wait a day or two anyway. I was leaving it out there for like 3 to 4 days. Yeah, Lysol spray for things like cloth. And if I could clean it, I was cleaning it. And so it was taking those extra precautions just because his immune system is compromised. And it would be a risk by taking in these items and possibly bringing in something like COVID or anything really. So it's just an extra precaution I take with all my children, but especially with the fact that my special needs son's immune system could not fight off something. So you do have to take those precautions when you're bringing stuff in. Make sure that stuff is clean. Make sure that stuff is safe. Make sure that the food is healthy. Maybe not healthy to eat, but healthy as far as not contaminated. Obviously, you're going to take a risk. You're taking that risk even getting it off the shelf, though, because when it's getting packaged in plants, there's things that happen. People have found some pretty bizarre, crazy, messed up things with stuff that they bought off a shelf. Expired contaminated, dirty, you name it. So you're taking a risk regardless. But that is one of the big things you want to be sure of when you're diving with a child with a compromised immune system, a child with cognitive delays, is that you're making sure you're taking into consideration the safety before, during, and after the dive. I hope that this series between me and, again, Frugal Family, Dumpster Decor, and more, and much more, I think it is actually, Julie's channel, I hope that both of our answers helped you realize that it is possible to go dumpster dive with your child, whether they have typical age limits, typical behaviors, or if they're special needs. Hopefully it made you realize that it is possible. It may have some extra precautions you have to take. It might have some extra steps you have to take, but you can still do it, and you can do it safely. Hopefully that is something you realize now. Please remember, after this video, go watch Julie's video. I'll have her channel linked in the description. Go watch her video, give her a comment, give her a like, all that fun stuff. We do appreciate it. I hope you guys had a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. And we'll catch you on the next one.